Hello YouTube, Southern Wolverine here with 1 versus 1 Rome Total War action. We've got, actually this was intended to be a 2-on-2, but we're having connection issues and one guy on each team dropped out prior to the start. So it ended up being my Carthaginian army versus that Carthaginian army. Carthaginian Civil War, I guess. So in any case, my army is fairly cavalry heavy. I do have 4 Cretan archer units. I have 4 melee units, 2 Samnites, and 2 Libyan infantry. I have my noble cav as my general. I have a standard unit of African elephants, which I don't take often. Typically I take the war elephants, but I figured I'd save a little money and try these guys out. In the woods here I have 2 Carthaginian cavalry, and out here, just coming out of the trees, I have 2 units of mercenary Campanian calves. So my cavalry force is quite strong, but I have no foot spears, and I have those Campanian cav units are kind of expensive, as is the noble cav. So my opponent here, Archelius, I think is his name, or if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, actually has more units than I do. He has 3 mercenary Cretan archers, I believe 2 Libyan peltasts, 3 African pikes, although one is in those trees. His elephant unit is an African war elephant unit, and he has a couple units, 2 or 3 of these late Carthaginian hoplites, and 2 or 3 Libyan infantry, I can't remember exactly. His general is also a noble cav unit, and he's got Carthaginian cav over here. So I definitely have superior cavalry force. We both have a decent amount of melee troops, however I don't have any pikes or spears, and I do have a slight edge in the skirmishing department, as I have 4 Cretan archers to his 3. He does have a slight uphill. I'm not sure how much that actually helps, but it might help him somewhat. So standard practice, we're going to just kind of focus fire on this unit, and you can see the storm of arrows coming down. The one guy who has a shield is trying to protect himself. And so my opponent is pushing his pikes up, I guess to protect them, or maybe to try to force my skirmishers back. I do decide to pull them back just because I'm not sure what he's doing, and I don't want to take any chances, especially since all this cav has pushed up to the flank. They are basically just shadowing my Campanian cav. So I'm just going to fall back and try to draw out this skirmish and hope he makes a mistake that I can take advantage of. This is one of those battles where one mistake might cost it. I can already kind of tell that because this he's playing very patient. He's got a well-rounded army. He doesn't have any kind of nonsense. My army is not as well-rounded. Excuse me. But I did build it with a plan, and the trick is making that plan work. The idea is to encircle and to hit from multiple directions, since I do have a lot of cavalry. If I can, I would like to eliminate his cavalry, draw it out into a fight, eliminate it, use my archers maybe to panic his elephants, since I do have the flaming shot. That's one of the reasons I took them instead of the slingers, which perhaps would have been a better overall choice, even though the slingers are slightly more expensive. In retrospect, maybe I would have taken the slingers, because I would have won this skirmish fight pretty handily, I think, if I had those guys. But this guy has taken an army that looks very similar to what I normally take with Carthage, so I know it's a very, very dangerous force. Now his cavalry did try to take advantage of the fact that my 2 Campanian cav were isolated. As soon as I pulled them away, though, he drew his cavalry right back. So he knows the stakes of keeping his cavalry alive just as well as I do. I know I want to kill them, and he probably suspects that I want to kill them. So this guy knows his business. So I'm gonna continue to try to draw his cavalry out. You see my noble horse and 2 Carthaginian cavalry are now moving around his extreme right. Once again, in an effort to get his cavalry to respond, maybe tire out his elephants. And if he doesn't respond, maybe I can get a shot at some of these peltasts so I can feel a little bit safer bringing my elephants in. Just at the moment, I'm just kind of holding my elephants back. So he's running some forays, some little interference attacks, I think. these Carthaginian hoplites, I presume, are just moving out to cause my cavalry to wonder whether they want to charge into this. It's also possible he had an attack order clicked, and then I pulled back or something. But in any case, the skirmish fight continues, and this unit, he's focus firing on these guys. He knows the game, it seems like. Or he's about to focus fire on these guys. They've taken a significant number of losses already, and it's going to start to get worse for him. So even though I have more skirmishers, I'm not sure I'm winning this battle right now. That withdraw kind of cost me. I took a couple volleys in the back while that was happening. So I might have been better served just staying in that fight. So anyway, this unit is going to go ahead and rout. They're getting shot up pretty good. And see, the cavalry did respond to my cavalry, so I pulled them back. Once again, he's not following though. He's not taking the bait. So I'm going to try it again. I sent some Carthaginian cav out in this direction, in the hopes that he bites on one of these. So yep, the Cretans are shattered, running away. And you're going to see a couple of these units are following them, so I see them start to follow me. I'm going to try to get my cavalry on him, but he moves his whole line forward again, just screening him. So now I've routed one of his units also, and so he's down to 2 Cretan archers at this point, I believe. I still have 3, although mine have taken more casualties. See, there's the unit's down a third, and that unit's also down a third. So, and even at this point, I'm a little concerned about the skirmish fight, because even if I win it, which it looks like I probably will if I can kill off these skirmishers, I'm not going to have any ammo left. So, yeah, slingers maybe would have been the way to go. So that means the only thing that I'm not too worried about running out of skirmish, the only problem is the elephants. I'm a little concerned about how to take them down. I don't dare send my own elephants against them, although it would tie them up for a while. Since elephants don't kill other elephants very quickly. So I'm kind of continuing to give ground, hoping for just an opportunity for my cavalry to strike. See, I think I have one here for a moment. I'm going to try to hit the back of his pikes or something here with my Carthaginian cavalry. He does have this Carthaginian hoplite here, though. I was going to just skirt around it, but he sees my cav coming and responds, and I have no choice but to get those guys out of there. So once again, a feint and then a counterattack, and so we got a lot of maneuvering going on, but the main action has all been from skirmishers to this point.
Loose.
Nope. So now that the skirmishers reformed, I am winning the skirmish battle, but I am damn near out of ammo. So you're going to see me actually pull these guys back to preserve their last like 4 or 5 shots, because I know I need these guys against the elephants. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Now, he's been playing fairly conservatively, and I'm running out of resources in terms of ammunition to kill the elephants with. My cavalry aren't getting the opportunity, so they're kind of being wasted. So I'm going to move my elephants out to try to join the cavalry force over here, which is the 2 companion cav, and try to force the issue. Force an engagement. So I'm also splitting up my swords, a couple to each flank, with the idea of just going around his pikes and engaging these hoplites on either flank. With the aid of my cavalry, I should be able to destroy those units, turn the flanks, or at least turn one of them, and get into the action. Now, he does take advantage of the fact that I moved all my melee troops away and brings this Carthaginian cavalry out to attack my Cretan archers. So I'm just going to split them all up so we can only hit one of them. I'm going to try to hit them with missiles. So you see I've got an attack order, all of them are going to try to shoot on there. This unit's going to die pretty quickly. Yet, they didn't have many shots left. It's not that big of a loss. I'm going to kill a few of these guys with missiles, I think. Yeah, I got one of them anyway. So he's going to chase them down for a bit. And I'm just going to kind of run these guys up to get them out of here. Meanwhile, the main fight is beginning over here as my Libyan swords and these Samnites go ahead and attack these hoplites over on this flank. My cavalry is going to charge into his swords, which is exactly where I want them. And the elephants are also getting into these units. Same thing on this flank. We got swords, although in this case we have swords versus swords here. And we got the Samnites versus these Carthaginian hoplites over here. My general did get bogged down in this fight. The The noble cav caught me, and then the elephants joined the fight. So that's going to be a problem for me. I don't see how that could possibly go my way. However, some of these cavalry are back here beating up on these Libyan infantry. That's a fight they will win eventually. My cavalry is also over here fighting, unfortunately, against some of these African pikemen, but they're not in pike formation. Not in a very good pike formation anyway, so this is a fight I will also win given enough time. What I did is I pulled these two Libyan infantry out of their fights. We won this one fight and I pulled them out from the other unit. I'm going to try to bring them over here into this fight. Actually thought about going after going wider and doing something a little clever, but it's like, nope, just get them into the fight. So now I've more or less won this flank, although my elephants paid the price for it. They're out of control and there's only 2 of them left. And that's a big loss for me, because his elephants are still alive and they're still at full strength. So I am winning the infantry fight for the most part. However, my cavalry is involved against these elephants, and that's bad news. These Carthaginian cav, I tried to get them out of there. The elephants caught them as well. So they did their damage, the Carthaginian cavalry did, but they're now out of the fight, as are my elephants, effectively. So my opponent's pulling some of these troops around to try to regroup. I'm bringing my sword to try to win this fight as quickly as I can. I brought my Campanian cav out of that brawl to take out this Carthaginian cavalry that was in my backfield. And these guys lasted longer than I thought they would. Even though they're losing decisively, they're not routing. And I was really hoping to rout them quickly and come back to the fight, because you see now what's happening is the elephants are going to head that way. And that's bad news. Alright, so now we got some of Achilles' Libyan infantry are re-entering the fight. These pikes are facing in a really wrong direction, so I do catch them in the flank, so that's a fight they can't really win. I am head-on here, which is kind of a problem. I didn't even realize this. I was doing a lot of micro on the cavalry, and this is not ideal. I didn't realize the pikes are behind the hoplites like that, and the hoplites are giving me trouble. Or rather, the pikes are giving me trouble, preventing me from really getting into the hoplites. Alright, so I pulled the 1 unit of Campanian cav out here to try to kill these peltists, and it worked pretty well. But these Campanian cav are just trying to run away from the elephants. And for whatever reason, the elephants are able to keep up with them, which maybe it's because my cavalry was tired. I don't know. They're normally significantly faster than war elephants. And these war elephants were in a bit of a fight, so it's possible that he had the general ability that, you know, refreshes your units or something like that. So those guys really should have been tired from that fight. So yeah, now I'm really in trouble because my cavalry forces are dwindling, my skirmishers are pretty much gone, and this fight, which I'm doing okay in, is going to come to a swift and painful end as these elephants smash into me from behind. So there's my poor guys. Some of the Samnites still alive, headed for the hills. Just not enough. Yeah, so my elephants, total wash. His elephants did quite well. My cavalry did okay, considering that this unit was caught by the elephants. But his 1 Carthaginian cav was able to break through, and my skirmishers do a lot of damage. The skirmishers were basically a wash, which actually was kind of a win for him, since I don't think he spent as much on his skirmishers as I did. Although 2 Libyan peltists might actually be more than a unit of Cretan archers. Actually, this army was not built to function this way, but the 2 Libyan infantry units did better than anybody else. Not really what I meant this army to work as. So, yeah, my advantage in cavalry I was not able to make it tell, and that's pretty much the story of the battle. My one consolation is I did do more damage than I took. That's because I have some of these couple of expensive cav units, and he had some cheaper pike units and things going on here. So that was an excellent game to Achilles, and my only defense is that I intended to play this as a 2v2, and yeah, I know that's a weak defense, but he played a good game. I got to give him credit. So Please like this video, comment, subscribe. I'm Southern Wolverine, wishing you a good day.